What is up, everybody? Aaron the Dog here with Aaron the Dog MMA, and I am back with Brandon of MMA Wagers, and we are back for what we're going to kind of do on these double, not quite UFC, smaller, lower level organization. I don't even want to say lower level at this point. Just different organizations. So there's a PFL and a Bellator on a Friday. So if there's a Bellator and LFA on a Friday, what we're going to do, we're going to just put them into one video. And we're going to prioritize one of the cards to focus on a lot more, and then probably just go more over the other one, a little more in generality with just kind of general leans or picks from my end, leans from Brandon's end. So for today, we're going to take Bellator 261 back from Unkinsville or whatever, Connecticut. Bellator.
Oh, they're still there, huh?
Yeah, they rented out the place and they're going to get their money's worth. Yeah, we're still in Connecticut. Bellator 261, headlined by an interim heavyweight title fight between Tim Johnson, who definitely didn't predict this by how he started his Bellator career, and Valentin Moldavsky, who a little more predictable in expecting this out of him. Kind of expected him to get to this point at a certain point. I believe he's another one of those Fedor proteges, but maybe I'm wrong on that one. But I feel like he is. I might be getting him confused with another.
Any Russian heavyweight is probably in connections with Fedor.
Yeah, which they can't really blame
especially
him.
At this level.
Yeah, can't blame him. And yeah, Bellator definitely seems to have a pipeline in there, but solid Bellator 10 fight card, and then I believe it's a 12 fight PFL card with some heavyweights and lightweight women and a few others. So always kind of a hard to predict PFL. So we will go over those picks for my side and leans for Brandon's side. And also we might be joined by a few guests today, learning this as we're going, and we'll see if they can join us. We know it's a crazy world for the fight game here, but two Michigan products, Josh Parisian, who's possibly making his second appearance on Aaron the Dog's MMA show. So that would be my first as second two-time appearance, but coming off that big win in a really high-paced, once again, a huge amount of volume being thrown fight from Josh Parisian and Roque Martinez on last Saturday. Josh did come out on top with a split in that one, so would love to talk to him if he can make it on, but we know he's got a life and things going on. Also, Justin Jaynes, UFC lightweight product. He's on a 3-fight losing streak right now, so this is a very important fight he has coming up this Saturday, and he is going to try to join us as well. I know he cuts a lot. I know he cuts weight to get down to 155. We'll kind of talk about that a little bit, see how much maybe he's willing to divulge with that. But he's in the middle of a huge fight week, and to even consider coming on. In all honesty, we appreciate it. So either way, and if he doesn't make it on, all good and all the best to him. But really important fight with Charles Rosa, and a fight I was already really liking the dog in before having him agree to come on. I will say that. So he was one of my favorite dogs coming into the weekend already. So
last year he cashed as a plus 900 underdog if you bet him first round versus Frank Camacho. So that was a huge payday for me that night.
Yeah, and I do believe I did put a little sprinkle down on him that night.
Short notice replacement.
Just out of the fact that it was anybody who was that lowly expected against Frank Camacho.
And he missed weight, Camacho. So.
Right, yeah. And hopefully Camacho gets better from his issues with the car accident and everything.
Yeah, he was supposed to fight 2 weeks ago. Who was he? Yeah. He was supposed to fight some. The name.
Was it Hadzovic?
On the name, but.
Was it Hadzovic? And then Hadzovic.
No, Yancey's fighting him.
Right, I thought maybe it was Hadzovic, and then Yancey got paired up with Hadzovic, and then.
No, I don't think it was.
Canceled. But either way,
in MMA, man, it's impossible to keep.
Yeah, we're putting in 20+ hours of we're not just studying the UFC, we're studying Bellator, we're studying
Age Warriors this week too. There's
Age Warriors has the trilogy this weekend.
Yeah, and there's odds available, so I'm gonna be all over that too.
I mean, this is where you find a lot of these great talents.
I love Cage Warriors. I'm throwing it out.
Soren Bach is one of the guys we'll be talking about on this Bellator card.
And Nicholas Dolby on UFC this week.
Yep, and he's huge, and we see how the UFC is getting super behind Paddy Pimblett as well before he plummets to the ground when he faces anybody legit. In my opinion, I can't wait to fade Paddy Pimblett.
And when we're talking about Soren Bach, we'll probably mention something about that fight.
Yeah, I would think so. But let's go ahead and jump in. We've got a really interesting show today, and I'm always excited to see how these kind of turn out. So we're back with the split screen. It is no longer even a big deal to me. It's just second nature at this point. And we start out
at this point. Yeah, it's like a Guitar Hero. We're going to be talking to Justin Jaynes, and his nickname's Guitar Hero, by the way. I have my guitar ready if he does jump on. My Guitar Hero guitar.
Run for the hills. Yeah, run for the hills. We'll ask him about his what he thinks about
Iron Maiden.
He thinks about Trogdor and all his other favorite Guitar Hero tracks. I wish Guitar Hero was still a thing. And that we'll jump in, but I wish Guitar Hero was still a thing because I used to love that shit.
It still is to me. I don't care what anybody says.
It still is a thing up in Canada. But we're starting at 145 here with a banger of a first fight. I think this is an incredible opening fight. Right away, it's going to be tough for me to bet on this fight, at least on the favorite, because I think this is an extremely appropriate, good matchup. We've got John Teixeira, also known as Macapa, so you'll see John Macapa and probably find more highlights and actual tape on him than when you search John Teixeira, just because that name is so common. So there's a little kind of tip for you if you're looking for some tape on Teixeira. There's plenty of it out there. John DeJesus is who he's taking on. John DeJesus, 13-9. He does have that salty record, but I really have liked watching him so far. He's very confident, has a really nice reach for the 45 division of 76 inches. Says he's only 5'9". He looks taller than that to me. Like, he really is a very lengthy 45er. Reach advantage right away, 7 inches, according to here, between him and John Teixeira. John Teixeira, 34 and a half, almost 35 years old. So you got a 30-year-old versus the 35-year-old. Those are a couple things right away that jump off for me. But I'll go into Platano, John DeJesus first. He's coming off of a loss to Aaron Pico, where it's Aaron Pico, man. At this point, Aaron Pico really becoming kind of steady as she goes now that he's using that wrestling, which he used a ton of the wrestling and ground and pound against DeJesus. Frankly, that's how you beat John DeJesus. It really is when you allow it to kind of be on its feet, allow him to move around, have space. He has a lot of good fortune. Had a big win at Bellator 244 over a 16-1 guy in his debut of Vladislav Parubchenko. And I do remember that fight, and he was really, really sharp in that fight, was able to keep his opponent off him. In general, you look at like the Bill Algeo fight, that was a good fight as well, but Bill was able to implement the wrestling and really crowd DeJesus. I think that's what Teixeira has to do to win this fight. I think if this is in range, Teixeira could be swinging at some air at points and getting landed on quite a bit by DeJesus. That is when DeJesus has a lot of good fortune. And DeJesus has only lost to decent guys. I don't know who Frank Buenafuente is, but I do know Bill Algeo, Pat Sabatini, Danny Chavez, all very good guys. I believe Jason Soares is a name I recognize as well from the regional scene. And Billy Quantillo. These are all like very good guys to lose to, frankly. And 13-9, I get it's a rough record. He was scheduled to fight Alfred Kalshakian back in April. I'm not sure what happened with that fight. This is kind of a similar fight, though. John Teixeira, Macaba, like I said, 34, almost 35 years old, out of Novo Union, coming off a loss to Makura Asakura back at Ryzen. I did go back and watch that fight, and Teixeira struggled with the length a lot in that fight. The leg kicks, the long jab of his opponent, much taller opponent. He's facing a lot of the same puzzles here. So, Teixeira definitely has been around in Bellator for quite a while. I believe he's fought 5 times in Bellator. Has a win over Kevin Kroom over there, which is very good. I don't know who Ashley Grimshaw is, but his losses are to Pat Curran, Daniel Weichel, and AJ McKee. So, but again, AJ McKee was really able to get. Yeah, AJ McKee is one of the best fighters in the world at this point. I'm really excited to see him against Pitbull because that will solidify his standing. And I'm frankly leaning that way at this point. I haven't made an official pick yet, but I'm leaning AJ McKee. So, but I have seen in a few fights now, Teixeira can find his way onto the end of punches of very lengthy featherweights. It does seem that he's starting to slow down a tiny bit too at 34, turning on to 35. So I looked at the odds here, and my only option is a dog or pass, frankly. I think this is going to be a close one. And with the price and everything, I'm going to go with John DeJesus. I'm going to go with an upset. I'm going to go with the dog here in the first fight of the night. I just think that it's closer to a pick 'em, frankly. And it's at -220 right now for Teixeira. I just don't agree with that. Teixeira's getting much older. He's taken a lot of damage. He's shown to struggle against lengthier featherweights, and DeJesus is that. I don't really rate Teixeira as this incredible wrestler. He's nowhere near Pico level of obviously, which is, I know, a high level, but still, I mean, I just don't expect him to go in and be able to replicate Pico's game plan here necessarily. And I really liked how DeJesus looked in his Bellator debut. I think it could be a similar type of performance. So I'll take DeJesus to get that decision win. Plus 180 is the price I found on him. I like it.
Yeah, this is a good fight. We got the Johns. We got the Johns fighting against each other. John Macapa or John Teixeira. I don't know. Like some sites have Macapa, some sites have Teixeira.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's training Nova União, so we know that's a legitimate camp in Brazil. But
Yep.
that's like more for featherweights and lightweights. What is it? This fight is a featherweight. Is it?
Yes, it's featherweight.
Okay,
I might have said flyweight a few times. Sometimes I screw up, but I meant featherweight.
Yeah, it's the F. But yeah, like Ashley Grimshaw is actually a Cage Warriors vet as well.
Mm-hmm.
Or a Risen, or sorry, not Risen, what's it called? KSW vet.
Okay.
But he's
so you never know
old.
what you're getting with KSW. Sometimes you're getting incredible. Other times you're getting, wow, how does this person have 34 wins or something like that?
Freak show fight. So
it's all over the place with KSW.
Yeah, and but at the same time, both of them have faced really good opposition. You look at John Teixeira's record; it's way better than John DeJesus's record. John DeJesus 13-9, 22 total fights, while John Teixeira 23-5-2, 30 total fights, only losing 5 times, getting 23 victories, 2 draws. Those draws were in like Japan, right? So
yeah,
and
also he's had 8 fights in Bellator now. He had 2 stints, and in his first stint, his 3 wins, although they're all splits, were over a 15-4, a 20-3, and a 31-4.
Yeah, so, that's like, extremely
all splits.
That's extremely important to take into effect while betting this fight, because all splits, they all could have went the other way, but like those are high level opposition with that much experience.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. He's 6-3 in Bellator, so this will be his 10th Bellator fight.
Yep.
John DeJesus, his 3rd. They fed him to the wolves with Aaron Pico. Like, it's not really fair. Like, why would Bellator do that? Sometimes they do those kind of things.
He beat a 16-1 guy to start out. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, there's only one way but up. Like, once you do that,
and it's not like Aaron Pico's like a Anthony Johnson, but he's still like at his young age, like he's a killer, man. He's a killer.
Especially when Aaron Pico wrestles, it's just like that's the best version of Aaron Pico.
That Anaconda choke was incredible.
Yeah, I agree.
But like, so losing to Aaron Pico is not a huge deal, but still, like, this is a closer fight than what the odds indicate based off what you're saying. I haven't I briefly looked at the odds. I'm pretty sure it's like a 2-1 favorite here.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it's exactly what it was. That's what I was saying.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, so I mean,
John Teixeira.
Yeah, John Teixeira is a minus 225 favorite.
Yeah, you're gonna have to parlay that.
And I just don't think this is a parlayable piece.
Yeah.
On either side, I think this is a very close fight. I think you could very easily see another split here. And I just think when you're in a position where it's a potential split, I'm either passing or I'm betting the 2-1 dog, just because I just don't find a minus 225 valuable enough to add to parlays when it's so close. I mean, the good thing is it's your first fight of the night, so you can reload all those parlays if you fuck them up. But like, that's not how you really want to be rolling with your parlays, in my opinion. So I just took a shot at the dog. I know you're not going to make your pick here, so
Jesus has been a lot more active.
Yeah, he's been more active. He's got that 7.5 to 8 inch reach advantage.
Yeah,
Teixeira's shown trouble with this. I believe that the Jesus is training off ATT at this point as well.
Pittsburgh Academy and Mark Cherico's martial arts, but he's probably been to ATT, and
I think I think he goes down to Florida for fight camps.
Oh, he has been. Okay, so that's good news. That's good news.
So definitely, I'm okay going with the dog, and I'm gonna go on to the next fight here. This is another really good fight at middleweight between Taylor Johnson and Lance Wright. These guys really mirror each other in a lot of ways. Two high-level grapplers, one fighting out of Team Elevation, and Lance Wright, the boogeyman. I was able to listen to an interview with Lance Wright because, unfortunately, not a lot of fight tape I could find on him outside of some of his amateur fights and one pro fight. His pro fight, he did end up winning, but showed some issues with the stand-up. But we're going to put a pause on that real quick because one of our guests has arrived. That's Mr. Justin Jaynes, the guitar hero himself, wearing the stunner shades. We're going to bring him on. What up, Justin? And that's not Justin, but what up, sir?
Hey,
how you doing?
Doing well. Just going. We got media day today, but I got a couple minutes to chat it up with you guys. What's going on?
Dude, first of all, appreciate you coming on. I'm Aaron the dog. Brandon was who reached out to you from MMA Wagers over here.
Dude, I gotta show you this right now. I gotta show you this. Dude, right there, buddy.
Oh, let's go.
Fucking play it. Fucking play it.
Red. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I'll do my suck up here. I'm from Michigan, so I'm always representing the Michigan MMA. From Okemos, right outside of East Lansing. So you already know. We had Josh Parisian on last week. He turned on to a banger, so right before his fight. So thank you for joining us. First of all, in the middle of fight week, you're looking like you're feeling great. How's prep going for this huge fight for you? I know they're all big, but how's it going?
By far, best fight camp I've ever had out of my 73 MMA fights. By far, I have such a great coaching staff at the PI. I have such a great coaching staff at Extreme Couture. Everyone's been so great so far. And, we're just getting this last 15 pounds off, going to make weight and slap old Charlie Boy around a little bit.
Absolutely. I was talking to Brandon before we came on here, and doing my prep for tomorrow. I do all of the UFC breakdowns as well. We have our PFL and Bellator breakdown show today that we're covering. We respect all the organizations. We do LFA. We do Cage Warriors. We love it all. MMA is MMA to us. The UFC, it is that top of the dog of the top dogs, though. So we do acknowledge that. So seriously, for you to come on a huge fight week like this, we get there all big, but all the gratitude in the world right there. Pure Michigan man right away. So nothing but respect, brother.
I went to college in Olivet. That's only like 30 minutes away, man. So I've partied.
Hey, I went to CMU, Central Michigan, baby. So I made plenty of trips. We brought people from Olivet to Party Central. You know how it is. They're like, we need fun. Help us.
Dude, I'm sure that we've crossed paths at one time or another. I fought at Soaring Eagle a bunch when I was in college.
Yeah, we definitely have, man.
I'm sure that
we probably ran across each other in the mire. Yeah, we ran across each other in a mire at some point for sure.
You guys might have funneled a beer together one time. Who knows?
Yeah, grabbing a Verner's, grabbing a Verner's. But I was doing my breakdowns for this fight before I even knew you were coming on. I'm Aaron the Dog because I seek out the underdogs. I love an underdog bet. No shock to you at this point in your UFC career. You're an underdog again because the odds makers, first of all, Sean Shelby likes to put you against just pure killers, which I get everybody in the UFC is, but your slate of fights in the UFC so far is, I think, 4 of the toughest first 4 fights I can think of anybody that I've seen. It's just been crazy. And so I first and foremost saw that you were facing Charles Rosa, and I was like, okay, it's probably about pick'em. Justin Jaynes slight favorite. I see you're an underdog. I don't know if you pay attention to the odds at all, but
I pay attention just as much as you, I bet.
Yeah.
How big of an underdog, Aaron?
Plus 160, I just saw.
Plus 160, which, first of all, I already bet it straight. I'm waiting for the props to come out because it's hard for me not to bet Justin Jaynes inside the distance, I'll be honest. It's hard for me to be like, oh, yeah, he's going in there and he's getting a decision.
No, that's not going to happen.
I will be betting. I already have bet you as an underdog. How does that feel to be an underdog in every single one of your UFC fights? First of all, just to preface this question before I turn it back over to you, Jan Blachowicz has been an underdog in 10 of the last 11 fights he's been in. I have been cashing him like a madman for the last 2 years. So underdogs doesn't mean anything to me. I actually love it. It's more money for me. What does that feel like for you?
I prefer being the underdog. I like, surprising people. It's not a surprise to me or my family or my friends or my coaches. I know what I'm going to do to Charles Rosa. I know what I can do. Yeah, I appreciate you bringing up the fact of the tough competition I fought over the last year. And not only are they, tough competition, but how can I prepare properly for a fight in 2 weeks or 3 days for that matter, which all my UFC fights, the longest camp I've had was 3 weeks with Gavin Tucker. And again, fighting these top tier guys, it's tough, preparing for these guys on such a short notice. But with Charles Rosa, he's a vet of the sport. He's been in the UFC for nearly 10 years. I believe this is his 10th fight in the UFC. I believe I have what it takes to beat him. And I do see myself finishing Charles Rosa within the distance.
Yeah, which, that is not saying, that is not poo-pooing anything because Charles Rosa is extremely tough. I believe he's been stopped one time inside the UFC, and that was by Shane Burgos.
Stoppage too. I didn't care for the stoppage.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're paying attention. You're not just leaving it on your coaches to watch tape. You're watching tape all the time, correct?
I watch almost every other day at least.
Yeah, and there's plenty of tape out there on you. I mean, I've found so many different YouTube is packed with Justin Jaynes footage. Some of it longer than others, but I always make fun of. I do my UFC breakdown show with Brian Pooh Bear Battle. He's currently on The Ultimate Fighter, trying to fight for middleweight. But I always make fun of him because as an amateur, he fought all of his fights to decision. So you can type in Brian Battle, and you have like 3 hours of tape on him. And now he's a pro. He's got four finishes in 5 fights. And
I think Justin Jaynes has like 70 amateur fights. They're not even on Tapology. It's not recorded.
Yeah, I had 47 amateur fights before I turned pro, and I think this is like my 24th pro fight. I can't.
Like Alexei Oleinik numbers.
Yeah. And again, this is, I can't stress this enough. 4 fights into your UFC career, and this is your first full camp. I mean, we're literally walking with you. We're walking to walk as you're going into media here. This is just like a crazy access. I'm trying to focus to ask questions
this is
here.
UFC embedded, buddy. UFC embedded.
This is Aaron the Dog's UFC embedded. So it's like
UFC embedded. This is behind the scenes. I might have to turn my phone off here in a second.
Dude, you're all good. You're all good because we'll catch up next week after the fight. We'll have you back on where you can talk some more. Frankly, Justin, I'm looking forward to talking to you when I can focus more because right now I'm just trying to be a part of this experience. I can't. This is wild. We're at the apex. Aaron the Dog.
I run into Dana. Where's Dana at?
I don't know. I'm
looking for
him. I'm telling you, man. I guess all I really want to say is that I really do like this matchup. I think it's a tremendous matchup for you. I'm more than anything looking forward to seeing a full camp Justin Jaynes, because you're at Extreme Couture, one of my favorite camps, one of the, I think, hottest camps in the entire organization right now. Yep. Last week, I had the pleasure of hammering King Casey O'Neill as a plus 150 underdog. What is it with you guys being underdog? Like, Casey O'Neill being an underdog last week. What are we talking about? And it's the same thing this week to me, except at least Charles Rosa has experience.
Hey, Aaron, I don't want to cut you off, but I got to go do some paperwork. I'll holler at you when I'm done. Right?
No worries, man. Thank you for coming on, and we'll talk soon. Thank you for even joining us. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Peace, guys.
All right. That was awesome. Yeah, I'll take that any day of the week.
It was only for 8 minutes. Let's go.
Yeah, it's like I can't imagine if I had anything on my schedule half as important as what he's at right now, coming on to someone's podcast and talking to them.
I didn't think he was going to do it. I didn't think he was going to jump on.
Yeah, right down to the last second. Shout out to Justin. Again, it's going to be another Extreme Couture plus 150 dog that I'm cashing with a finish.
What's that round one knockout prop? Let me just check.
Plus 250, plus 350 would be my guess.
Might be plus 900. You don't know.
A first round knockout
first round
knockout prop of Justin Jaynes would be nuts to be that high.
Oh, they're not even out yet, man. Yeah. They're lacking on the props this week.
Yeah. So back into the breakdown here. Lance Wright versus Aaron Taylor. We got two power grapplers. Really interesting. Lance Wright, not a ton of footage on him I was able to find, but what I did find is his striking is very rudimentary for sure. Keeps his head quite high up during strikes, but his grappling really, really good. Has a solid top game. And is able to put guys away with his grappling. He was also put away by an anaconda choke himself. Aaron Taylor really known for those anaconda and modified north-south chokes, so something to look out for. Lance Wright, originally slated to be on The Ultimate Fighter this upcoming season. He was supposed to be on, contracted COVID back in March or February, I believe. So ended up not being able to join The Ultimate Fighter, ended up getting over to Bellator. But he's moved out to Colorado to full-time train, so definitely taking this very serious. Is the boogeyman. He's 6'2", good size. He's a middleweight. As I said, Elevation, a team I really like. 5-1, coming off a first-round submission back in February of last year. He was supposed to fight Taylor Johnson a couple weeks ago at 260. I wasn't able to find what happened. So I'm not sure if it was on Taylor's side or on Lance's side, but these guys do really mirror each other in a lot of ways. For sure, 5-1 versus 6-2 as well. Taylor Johnson, I believe, 6'2". Yeah, the shorter guy at 5'11". I believe their reach is pretty similar. He's out of American Top Team Portland. Coming off that loss to Johnny Eblin, which we kind of have a good idea. Johnny Eblin is a decent prospect at this point for sure. He lost the decision there. It was just one where Taylor had a hard time controlling the stand-up, and the grappling was very close. I don't think in this fight that will be the case. I think if it does end up with a grappling stalemate, Taylor does have a slight speed and overall stand-up advantage. But, this is one where definitely both guys are going to want to get this down and be on top. I think whoever is, if they're both not able to, I'm slightly leaning Taylor. But, I think this could be a close fight. Overall, I just think that Taylor's just a little bit sharper here, not coming off of COVID, faced better competition, been with, Taylor Johnson for the most part. He's been with LFA, he's been on the Contenders Series, Bellator. All of his fights have been, he had one fight in CFL, it was against Jamal Pogues, who's a very well-known regional guy. So Taylor's pretty battle-tested from the jump here. Wrestler at, I believe, Arizona State. I know he was a collegiate wrestler. So I'll lean Taylor Johnson, but these guys do match up pretty well. It could be another close decision. I'm fairly certain, and I'm checking, but yeah, Taylor Johnson, minus 300 favorite. Cool. That's rough, but it's just when you're in LFA and Bellator your whole career, people are going to know your name the entire way. And he had a heel hook of Ed Ruth, which really, I think, raised up that stock hugely. He was on the Contender Series. He's just kind of always had that name in the light, so he's going to be a favorite until he's not, like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I don't love the price.
Lost.
Yeah, I don't love the price.
He's only lost to the best opposition.
Yeah, he's only lost to the best competition, and Lance Wright, we frankly don't know much about. He's coming off of a year-plus layoff in COVID a couple months ago. So those are tough reasons to go with a dog. So I'll lean Taylor Johnson. Do you have any?
Yeah, I've been researching just like the North American high-level promotions, Bellator, PFL, UFC, also European promotions and Japanese promotions for the last 2 years. And Lance Wright is new to me. Like, I've never heard of the guy. I just researched him today. I couldn't find much. He does have an 8-1 amateur record, so he is battle tested, like you said. 5 years experience. Taylor has 5 years experience too. So Taylor's got that 100% finishing rate. So 5 knockouts, 1 sub. That heel hook on Ed Ruth, he cashes a plus 265 underdog.
It's crazy he only has 1 submission. It really is, because the way Taylor fights, like, he clearly has grappling acumen, but he wants to pound people.
I swear, Ed Ruth might have told his family, bet on Taylor Johnson this fight. You're gonna put your mortgage on Taylor Johnson. I'm just gonna
throwing allegation.
Go into a heel hook and tap.
A throwing allegation. Interesting.
Well, man, that fight, it did look a little shady, but just because Ed Ruth is really good, he's a wrestler though. He's on a BJJ fighter. He's a wrestler. So
I mean, Taylor jumped on that leg like a spider monkey too. Like, that was his entire plan. Was I took this fight on 5 days' notice. I have 3 minutes of gas. Let me wrench onto a leg, and it worked. Yeah. I mean, you see it so often in records, like heel hook and leg locks in like a minute, sub-minute.
But Ed Ruth faced like Naaman Gracie and didn't tap.
I know. It's MMA.
Or he did in the 4th round, I believe.
Yeah, but MMA. Wild.
Unbelievable. But Taylor Johnson, obviously he's going to have that, that's a feather in his cap for the rest of his life. And, like, it's hard to not pick Taylor here. At the odds, though, it's rough. If you're going to pick Taylor, maybe by inside the distance, because Lance has lost by a knockout as an amateur.
And he got submitted as a pro.
And 1 submission as a professional. So, But at the same time, like, I don't know Lance Wright, and I don't have a good read on this fight. I got more information from Lance Wright's interviews than his game or his fight tape that I could find. So that's always kind of a tough position to be in. And the thing with Taylor is he's good until he's not the hammer. When Taylor becomes the nail, he crumbles, and each time it's happened. So that's just the thing to kind of keep aware there. I would be cautious on betting Taylor Johnson at minus 300. But again, when you're in the limelight the whole time, you're going to get these crazy odds. Speaking of in the limelight the whole time, this guy's never leaving the limelight, because this guy, I think it's legit. I don't know the odds, so I'm going into this with take a
wild guess at what Jalen Bates is against Cody Matthews.
I can guess right now, minus 900, I guess.
Okay, that's your guess. All right. I won't tell if you're right or not. Cody Matthews, Madcar, is a 1-1, 23-year-old flyweight coming up to bantamweight to take on an absolutely legit prospect, in my opinion, who I think is going to get better and better. Another ATT Portland product, Jalen Bates, 24 years old, 5'9", 74-inch reach. So it's a 5'9" versus a 5'3", probably about a 69-inch reach or so. So we got like a 5 to 7-inch reach disadvantage right away. But new breed is indeed what Jalen Bates is to me. Cody Matthews, I wasn't able to find a ton of tape on this guy. 1-1. He's being brought in to get smashed, in my opinion. So he does have
amateur experience.
Yeah, he does have quite a bit of amateur experience and finishes as an amateur. 5-0 as an amateur, had a fight with Muhammad Ali that was called off. So, there's that. He was a bantamweight for most of his amateur career. So maybe this is a case where He's a little more comfortable there. His final fight was at flyweight as amateur. All of his fights as a pro have been at flyweight, all 2 of them, both of them going to a decision. He won Fight of the Night at Global Legion in his last fight against Israel Galvan, a 0-0 guy. This is just a case for me where I taken Jalen Bates pretty seriously and legitly. I think that he's got all the tools to be a really special fighter. Came into a fight against Jeffrey Glossner, which I remember us covering. Jeffrey Glossner, I believe, missed weight in that fight as well by a few pounds, and Jalen was able to just take him and, get a really nice looking modified guillotine with those long arms. Necktie. Yeah, he's got those long, tricky arms where he's going to have all sorts of interesting modified choke submissions by the end of his career. I'm a fan of New Breed. He's got a ton of amateur experience too. I believe he was 9-0 as an amateur. We're seeing a lot of submissions, got a few KOs. His Bellator debut, his pro debut, he went the distance, which I really like seeing. He's got good gas, had good control and composure throughout that fight. All over Jalen Bates here. Jalen Bates inside the distance for me. Gets submission number 2, maybe a anaconda or something. But yeah, I like this guy. I like this guy a lot, and I think
Cody Matthews has never been knocked out or submitted.
Yep. Well, Jalen Bates is the new breed, baby. New breed. He's new breed.
New breed is going to show this young breed something.
The Mad Cat. I think his nickname is the Mad Cat.
Mad Cat. Wow, Matt. Look at that Tapology picture.
I know, right? Yeah. Let me bring this back up. So, do you have any thoughts, kind of further?
He needs to get a haircut, or.
Yeah, you gonna use my squash.
No, dude. At the same time, Cody Matthews is a tough outing. I don't care what anybody says. He's only lost by 1 split decision. That could have went the other way. He could easily be 2-0 as a professional, 5-0 as an amateur. But at the same time, Jalen Bates is 2-0 as a professional, 9-0 as an amateur. He's got just as much experience, just as many fights. 5'3" versus 5'10". What is going on here?
I mean, this is our second this is our second very different height and reach fight, and this one you got the longer reach, the better fighter and longer reach in this one by far.
Well, I guess minus 900. What is it?
Okay, well the answer is Jalen Bates is only a minus 450, so half of what you think it is.
Well, it's going to be 900 by fight night. That's my
now I'm all of a sudden nervous that people know something about this tough Cody Matthews guy. I don't, because
he's only lost by a split decision.
I'm still shocked by that. I'm still shocked by that price.
Yeah, and Jalen Bates, did he start his career in Bellator? Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he's like an AJ McKee product,
and that's like the vibes I'm getting from him too. We saw early on in AJ McKee. We saw early on in AJ McKee's career, he went to a decision with a few guys that now you're like, how did he do that? Like, Jalen Bates is learning in front of us all. He had 9 fights as an amateur, 24 years old. Like, you look at that frame, and he really fills it well. I'm all aboard, and he's going in all of my part. He's going in all of my parlays. He's going in all of them.
Don't do all of them. What do you? I did that last night with Phoenix Suns. I don't know if you watched the basketball game.
Yeah, there you go.
0.8 seconds left. I got DeAndre Ayton. Put it in. 0.8 seconds left.
Yeah, that's such a end end because it was so easy how it happened that everybody thought there was something wrong with it because of how easily he did it. They're like,
the timing. It's so hard to do that, man. In NBA, the timing you need to get that.
Well, and the goal. You forget there's not goaltending on passes, which I never really thought about. But there isn't.
His fingertips, just his fingertips, just
the tips.
I can't. I was going to lose a significant amount last night. I was so hyped.
Next one.
So what are we on? Do you know this guy, Isaiah? Do you know
Isaiah Hokic versus Corey Samuels, 2-2 versus the 0-0 wrestling standout Isaiah Hokic, Corey Samuels, 2-2 out of Florida. The Lone Wolf or the Lightning Wolf. Yeah, cool name. Very cool name. He had a triangle choke of an 0-1 Gabriel Freyer. Before that, lost to a 1-1 Dean Barry by knockout. Got submitted by 1-0 Michael Rodriguez and won a disqualification over Azim Zadi. The thing I want to point out is he was 1-8 as an amateur.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you finally got to win. And he's like, I'm going pro. Like, I'm amazing.
2-9 I have because I combine the Sherdog one. Sometimes Tapology records.
Either way, that is salty. And I'm just going to make an assumption that they're bringing him in to get beat up by Isaac Hokic. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because the price is crazy. And it's just like Isaac Hokic is.
I'll guess on this one too. So yeah. Isaiah minus 1,000.
Closer. Minus 600. So like that's kind of just all I have to say about this fight. I don't think that there's any point in really breaking it down.
This reminds me of the LFA fight. They brought a really decorated wrestler to beat this like 3-6 guy, but he actually almost knocked the wrestler out. Literally, he was minus 3,300.
Yeah, so it's just like one of these. Yeah, it's one of these where I'll put Isaiah Hokic in like a few of my parlays, but he's not going in most.
Definitely not a safe parlay.
Just because, like, if he loses, it's like I bet a minus 600 on a guy with no tape other than amateur wrestling. Where
it was Steve Morrell. You remember Steve Morrell?
Yep, I do remember that.
Steven Morrell. He literally almost cashed as a plus like 2,000 underdog.
Yeah, and speaking of dogs, if you're hearing in the background, I've got a couple dogs who are playing, so if you're hearing like growls, and I apologize, like doing the best I can. Next fight, finally we are to the Cage Warriors vet. Soren Bach, 14-1, taking on Bobby Lee, LFA sweetheart. He's been around for a while. Bobby Lee's a wild man. I like him though. Yeah. He's former welterweight, fighting a former featherweight here, so potential size advantage there for Bobby Lee in strength, but 5'9" versus 5'9" there. Bobby Lee, I'll be breaking down first, 12-5 overall. Still only 25 years old, out of Start BJJ, fighting out of St. Cloud, Minnesota. Coming off a loss in his Bellator debut to really, really solid guy in Joey Davis. 7-0, but Bellator is expecting big things out of him. And Bobby Lee was able to really give him some trouble at points in that fight. His aggression was really coming through. Bobby Lee was a plus 450 underdog. He was expected to come in there and get smashed. He certainly did not. Still was on the short end of the stick there. Prior to that was on a 2-fight winning streak over 7-3 and an 11-4 guy.
Ultimate fighter that Mike Hill.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure he was the Julian Lane. He was in the scene with Julian Lane. Said, "You can't bang right now, bro. You can't bang right now."
Yeah, he was the guy who said, "I want you to bang." Very good point.
Nope. I want you to bang.
Yeah, good call. But overall, you look at the guys Bobby Lee has lost to in his 12-5 record. Aside from Jeff Peterson, who I'd never heard of. But Kilias Mota, 10-0 when he lost to him in LFA. No shame there. DeMarcus Jackson in LFA, another guy who has had some trouble over in Bellator, very solid in LFA. And Macon Mendoka. I believe Macon Mendoka ended up winning a title over in LFA.
And then he lost in his LFA debut. But they always, his Bellator debut. Yeah. They feed him to the Wolves.
Yeah, they feed these LFA guys to the Wolves. Joey Davis was who Bobby Lee had to fight in his debut. That was at welterweight. We're now moving down to 150. We're now moving down to 155. I believe this is Bobby Lee's lightweight debut. So got to see how he looks on the scales before I'm at all going to put any money on him, if I were to put money on him. But Soren Bach is rock solid, man. He's 14-1. He did have that one defeat where he was knocked out pretty quickly by a Finnish guy in Finland, in Alexei Montekivi, where Montekivi just cracked him and he never recovered from it. Soren was coming into that fight very, very, very confident, ready to wrestle, and got put away in a minute. So it's just kind of one of those where maybe it was just a bad night at the office type of thing. Maybe it was, I don't know. But since then, he's not shown any slowdown. Has a rear naked choke of Martin Stapleton, arm triangle choke, beat Paddy Pimblett, who we mentioned earlier, and really did work him. He walked him down a lot of that fight after surviving a rear naked choke at the very beginning by Paddy. So it seems like with Soren, you can kind of catch him early. If he hasn't quite gotten started yet, he's a little bit of takes him a minute or two to kind of wake up and get in there, because Paddy almost finished him by a rear naked choke inside a minute. It was really close. It was underneath the chin, and he was reaching back. I mean, it was close to being done there. And then he had that, again, like I said, that finish against Alexei, against Terry Brazier in his Bellator debut over in London. He just worked him, kept wrestling him, did not let him stand up. Soren was like, hey, I have a clear route to victory, and he used it in that fight. Terry was throwing his hands up, complaining, which is everything you want to see as a fighter in a fight. If you're seeing that, it means you're winning. Soren looks to be the real deal to me, man. I get it that Bobby's coming down from welterweight, but I do think that will sap a lot of his energy and gas potentially. And with Soren, he's just very composed, very intelligent. I got Soren Bach here all day.
Bobby Lee's gonna win this, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just joking. Bobby Lee,
he could. I mean, it's not that crazy. He could, but if you're that confident, I think you're nuts.
Bobby Lee actually is dropping down from lightweight since he fought Achilles Mota.
Okay.
He lost Achilles Mota, went to welterweight, and he's finally coming back down after 3 years. Soren Bach, he's an established lightweight at this point, 14-1. Mm-hmm. He's also 5 years older than Bobby Lee, so he's got a lot more life experience as well. I like Soren Bach, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, he's always cashed. If you bet on him,
he's good.
Minus 140, he's won. Minus 420, he won. But the guy came in short notice. And Morgan's a lot better than people think. I'm pretty sure Morgan is the new Cage Warriors champion. So
yeah, he is, and he's really good. That was a great fight.
Yeah, Morgan came in short notice, and it was actually a draw on one scorecard. So he barely squeaked by as almost a minus 420 favorite. Minus 130, he won against Paddy. I'm surprised he was the favorite against Paddy, because people are saying Paddy's the next big thing, like the next Conor McGregor.
Yeah, that is surprising. Good. I mean, sometimes the odds makers really know.
Yeah, we'll see about Paddy making his debut. I think they gave him a solid test. I can't remember who he's fighting, but it's a solid test.
Yeah, I'll be interested too, because
And minus 180, he won. Minus 150, so he's always cashing. He's never an underdog, but he's cashing for you. Bobby Lee has only cashed as a minus 345 favorite. Every other time he's lost. Even as a minus 555 favorite, he lost. So it's just hard to, put your money on him. I love Bobby Lee. He's got like a great personality. He's a solid fighter. He's a grinder. He's going to be the first one that shows up at the training camp before anybody else. Like, he'll get there before you, and you'll be like, oh, Bobby's here first, obviously. Like, he's one of those guys. He's a hard worker, man. And I'm really rooting for him, but Soren Bach is just I think he's on another level. 14-1 is against the competition he's fought is incredible. And I don't know, like, Bobby Lee can obviously pull this off, but Soren Bach should get this.
Yeah, Bobby Lee plus 240, minus 300 on Soren Bach. That's rough. But I'm okay with that parlay piece compared to some of these.
Watch it be a majority decision for Soren Bach. It will be like a
which you don't want out your minus 300s, frankly. But that's the end of the prelims. We're on to the main card here. Christian Edwards and Simon Biong got matched up together after both their opponents had to pull out for different reasons. And frankly, I'm very excited about this fight. I think we got the best result of the four of them that were together.
I agree.
We ended up with maybe this fight was going to happen down the line, so maybe it's too soon But Bellator's not afraid of that. We got the 30-year-old, 7-1 out of Cameroon, fighting out of Genova, Italy, Simon Biong, also known as Hemi, taking on Christian Edwards, 4-0. All of his fights coming in Bellator for Mr. Christian Edwards. And fighting out of Greg Jackson's, correct? Jackson Winkle?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a Jackson Wink protege.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those proteges. You'll hear John Jones brought up once or twice, I'm sure. Simon Biong, 6'6", 74-inch reach. Last fought at...
Man, that's crazy. The height.
Yeah, he's a tall guy. He last fought at 201, so he's a slim, kind of that Slim Reaper style. But the dude hits hard. His last 4 wins, all by finishes. Strikes in the 4th round of a fight. First round knockout, second round knockout, and second round knockout. So, you like seeing that. He had a fight with Melvin Manhoof scheduled, where Manhoof got rebooked. So that was tough. And he was supposed to originally fight Lee Chadwick. Overall, I was able to see some footage on Simon Biong. Really fun fighter to watch. His EFC fight with Quinn Rosau, those elbows he landed in the second round when he got on top, it was a short elbow, and it put Russo into la-la land, and then he just followed it up. So definitely some legit power on Simon's end. He has been finished by a rear naked choke by Ernesto Papa, 6-2 guy at the time. So possible route of victory, I think, for Christian Edwards here. Christian Edwards, just, a really good overall MMA prospect so far, 4-0, 7 straight wins, including his amateur career, where he was also undefeated. As an amateur, he had a couple punch finishes since he's been a pro. Has a few knockouts and a few submissions, including a heel hook in a grappling bout as well, but has a couple head kicks, has a head kick, elbow finish, as well as a rear naked choke finish in his last fight against Hamza Salim, another guy who is pretty heavy-handed, had a lot of finishes on the feet. I think Christian looks to kind of use the same type of neutralizing grappling, focusing on submissions here and to put Biombo on his back and get a submission. I really do like Biombo quite a bit, but I'm going to go with Christian Edwards. Currently no odds, as this was made kind of last second, but I would guess -240 for Christian Edwards.
Yeah, Ben Parash was supposed to fight Christian Edwards.
This is a much tougher fight than Ben Parrish was either time.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, it was scheduled twice, and Ben Parrish had to pull out this time around because of COVID.
Yep, COVID.
Edwards is now fighting Simon Biong.
Yep.
He was supposed to fight Lee Chadwick, so yeah, they just threw this together. Christian Edwards is another guy. He's like the Jalen, what's his name? Jalen Bates. Just another Bellator protege. 4-0 in Bellator so far. He's also fought in a grappling promotion. He won by a submission by heel hook, so he's definitely no stranger on the ground. I know he's only 22, but Aaron Pico's he was only 22, and he's changing the game. John Jones was only 22, and he was the light heavyweight champion of the world. So Christian Edwards, I see a bright future for this guy. He should start wearing his sunglasses now because the future is bright. And Simon Biong, obviously it is a better fight for him than Ben Parash. Christian Edwards, what a no disrespect, but I just don't think Ben's in that same realm as Christian. Simon's had more fights too.
Both guys got a tougher fight with this new fight.
Yeah, Lee Chadwick was also a Cage Warriors vet, and definitely faced a lot of good European fighters. Simon's from Italy, but born in Cameroon, so he's got that Francis Ngannou heritage. I just don't think he's ever faced anybody like Christian Edwards. But at the same time, you can say Christian Edwards has never faced anybody like Simon Biong. So it might be a really interesting fight. It's going to tell us a lot about Christian Edwards, and if Simon Bion gets through this test, he'll jump right into the rankings.
Yeah, I whoever wins this fight, I think, that it's a 30-year-old versus a 22-year-old. I think that's a pretty, big potential issue as well. Simon Bion could be much more desperate for the win here. So I think it's an interesting one. If Bion is a big enough underdog, I'm going to take a little flyer on him because he has that finishing ability. He really does. Like, his striking is sharp and fast, but it's hard for me to imagine him getting on top of Christian Edwards and winning any grappling bout against him. So
I have the Bellator odds here, and Christian Edwards was a minus 435 against Ben. So we'll see if those odds change at all.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine them increasing. If anything, maybe stays static. But I'm surprised he was that low against Ben Parrish. I would have put that in most parlays, frankly. Next fight here is a good one, a close one, and one that I unfortunately, just because of how close it is and everything, I have trouble getting a real read on this fight. It's Miles Jury versus Sydney Outlaw, two legit lightweights here. We got the Gun versus the Fury. Sydney Outlaw I will be talking about first here, 15-4. Looks like a very nice fella here. Nice smile in his Tapology pick.
Like Jordan Levitt.
Yeah, Jordan Levitt. I can see it a little bit. 5'8", 74-inch reach. However, his head coach, I don't know if you can see this, is Jesus Christ. His college is School of Pain. His foundation style is Win. And his other coach is Life. So, man, sometimes so Tapology
got Jesus Christ in his corner. I'm betting on him.
Yeah, his coach is Jesus Christ. He chains out of Renzo BJJ, which a few guys chain out of, as well as Ricardo MMA, Ricardo Almeida Jiu-Jitsu, coming off a huge split decision of Adam Piccolati. Adam Piccolati.
What did you think about that fight? Did you think he deserved the win?
I did not. I was quite surprised by the result there.
I thought Adam got more ground control time.
Yeah. And what up, Bunny? Good to see you as always. Thanks for joining us. And then made his Bellator debut with a pretty impressive decision win of Roger Huerta, although beating Roger Huerta in this decade, not exactly going to blow the doors off me. Then he got pretty starched by Michael Chandler on short notice in Japan. So that's tough, like all the way around.
Short notice? He was short notice that fight?
I'm pretty sure he was. I think Michael Chandler, let me just take a look, but I believe Michael Chandler was originally...
Michael Chandler came in short notice. He was supposed to fight Benson Henderson, Sydney Outlaw.
No, Michael Chandler was supposed to fight Benson Henderson. And then Benson Henderson got injured, so Sydney Outlaw came in.
Oh, you might be right. Yeah, that's right.
I might be right. We all heard it here first. Brandon really said you might be right.
Michael Chandler... Yeah, he was supposed to fight Benson Henderson. Yeah.
Correct.
Michael Chandler was not fighting on Michael Chandler.
Correct. Michael Chandler was not fighting on short notice against Sydney fucking Outlaw. What world are we living in? No. But I mean, Sydney Outlaw, he made pretty
props to Sydney Outlaw for stepping in.
Yeah, he made pretty quick work of Sydney Outlaw. Chandler did in that fight. So the good news is he didn't take like 3-4 rounds of damage, but he did take some pretty bad shots. It was the first time he'd been finished by punches since early on against Nick Brown in World Series of Fighting. For the most part, he loses to good guys he faces, and he beats the rest. I hate to oversimplify it here. He did have a split with Gregor Gillespie, so he does fight these kind of pure wrestlers very close, like Piccoli. But Miles Jury is really, really slick, very technical, and a lot tougher than a lot of people think. And I might just leave this comment up for the rest of the time. You can just read that one over and over again, Brandon.
All I gotta say is Stefan the Chikaway.
Oh man, we're bringing up bullshit from not even from this channel. Unbelievable.
Stefan the Chikaway.
Yep. How could anybody not bet Stefan the Chikaway? How could anybody? Fuck you, Brandon.
Look him up.
Oh, remember I was like, someone tell me how he's only a -140 favorite. I found the value on the card, everybody.
I just found a -400 favorite, guys. I'm going 5 units on him.
Oh my God.
But tell me, spill the beans about the Ultimate Fighter. Everybody knows that you know who won. So tell me.
Yeah, no, I don't know anything. But Miles Fury jury.
Everybody knows you know.
I don't know anything.
Spilling the beans.
I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm a vault, bro. I throw away the key. But Miles Fury jury.
You're like Zach Galifianakis in The Hangover.
Absolutely, Wolfpack, baby, Wolfpack. But Miles Fury jury, 32 years old now, which is wild. I remember back in the day when he was like the 24-year-old upstart on The Ultimate Fighter. Then he got injured. But so far, Bellator, the move over to Bellator from UFC, it's been a decent one. He had a really close, good fight with Benson Henderson. Benson did win that fight, though, but it was a good fight. Like, wasn't a bad showing at all. Came back against Brendan Gertz and corrected a lot of those issues of kind of backing up to the fence and allowing a grappler to kind of pin him. Worked a lot on his movement. His striking looks sharp, but it's Brandon Gertz. I don't exactly rate him very highly, if I'm being kind. And then we had a split decision win he had over Georgi Karakian, or I believe that's how you say it, Georgie K. I don't remember. Wasn't able to go back and watch that fight, but I recalled that as not as close of a fight as a split. I don't know if you kind of recall that fight too much with Miles. But I thought Miles.
Georgie Karakian beat Bubba Jenkins and Lance Palmer. We got to remember that too.
Yeah. No, so it's not a bad fight at all. But I mean, Miles did come out on top of that fight. I think
dog is really sad. Give him something. Why is he crying?
It's a puppy, okay? It's a puppy. His
crying.
name is Turks, and he's been sleeping all day, and now he is ready to turn up. That's part of why we need to finish up this card.
Trying to turn up.
Yeah, he's
like, he's so cute, man.
That's very small, and he's a good dog. I also got 2 other puppies in here. We're playing right next to the microphone.
Look at this. Look, my dog brings every single toy up here to play with.
Yeah.
You see all those?
Yep.
Freaking dog.
Yeah, this is why we make the money for these guys. But overall, I think Miles Jury is going to be the faster, more technical striker, more fleet of the foot. I think Sydney's going to have to really implement a lot of wrestling in this fight, and I don't really have confidence that he will be successful here. I think Miles has faced the better level of competition and beaten better level of fighters. If you look at Sydney's entire record, and the guys he's supposed to beat, he beats. The guys he's supposed to lose to, he loses to. And I put Miles Jury as one of these guys I think he's supposed to lose to. Also, this is my favorite dog of the night on the Bellator card, plus 115 for Miles Jury. I think that he can cruise to a decision here.
You just told me the odds. Miles Jury's an underdog.
Yeah, plus 115.
That doesn't make much sense.
Well, I figured I'd tell you the odds since you're not making your picks, so you can make a read based on the line.
Well, when we're doing these videos, I'm probably going to be giving picks. Like, it's hard.
Okay. That's
really
your business.
tough for me.
Yeah,
it's really tough for me to discuss a fight and not lean one way.
Yeah, but, So, what are your thoughts? Sydney Outlaw minus 145 favorite.
Yeah, Miles Jury, 8-4 UFC record. He was an Ultimate Fighter vet. 2012 to 2019, he was in the UFC, so that's 7 years. UFC experience.
Face some face some high level guys over there too.
Yeah, like Donald Cerrone. That was a big learning lesson. I think he was undefeated when he fought Donald Cerrone.
Yep.
So he's definitely, and he's got his own friggin' jiu-jitsu style. It's Jury jiu-jitsu. So
yep.
So send Miles a message, and if you want to know some Jury jiu-jitsu, he'll be happy to teach you for the right price, obviously. And there's actually some stats on Miles here. We got third best significant striking defense in the UFC lightweight division. So He's very good defensively, technically.
Yep.
Fourth least strikes absorbed per minute in the UFC lightweight history, and the fourth least bottom position time in UFC featherweight history. Because you got to remember, he started as a lightweight, but then he went down to featherweight, and now he's what? He's back to lightweight.
Yeah, he's back to lightweight, which I'm fine with. And
That's
I think
way better.
a big reason why he was not more of like a beloved UFC fighter is because of these defensive numbers. He was not going in there and looking to put on bangers. He was going in there trying not to get hurt and win fights. And Sidney Outlaw throws a lot of single shots, puts a lot of power, loads up at points. He can gas himself out. I've seen in a few fights. There's a lot here to where I think Miles will be able to kind of use those weaknesses as strengths for him against.
And Miles Jury lost to 2 former champions and 2 former title contenders, and Andre Feely. So really good opposition that he's faced. He's lost to, but he's only going to learn from those bouts.
Yep. Yeah. So
who was he lost to? Has he been on the wrong end? Michael Chandler, obviously.
I mean, Sidney Outlaw, he's lost.
Wow, Gregor Gillespie, Nick Brown.
Yeah, he lost a split decision to Gregor Gillespie.
Wow.
He lost to Michael Chandler, as we said. I mean, he lost to
Rahush Monfio, who's fighting Anthony Pettis on Friday.
He lost to Nick Brown early on. Nick Brown is a very solid guy. Although getting KO'd by him inside a round is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah. Mel Jury is the pick here. This
is the underdog that if Bellator has some bullshit betting analysis,
we can take that off down. Aaron, we can. All right, we get it. We get it. Okay.
Okay, fine. I'll put up this one. I'll put up this one. This is a nice one.
All right, that's better. There
we go. Now we all can get the love.
Both of us as a contributing factor.
There we go. But yeah, you're the best as well, Bunny. We appreciate you always making your appearance.
And why is she not here today as a guest appearance?
It's like she has one of those things called a JOB. Because she's a boss.
Oh, I thought that was my excuse, and I thought it was bullshit.
Yeah,
but with her, it's different.
Indeed. Daniel Weichel versus Keani Diggs is our next fight here. It's at featherweight.
This is only 3 more fights, buddy. We're on the home stretch.
Yep, and then we're just going to kind of go quickly through our PFL picks. We're not going to break down the whole card here. Maybe moving forward we'll try to, but we both kind of have different, schedules here, and we're doing our best. But Keani Diggs is the next fighter I will be breaking down here. Happy-looking fella. Look at him. He's so happy. Smiling. 9-0. He's undefeated. He's out of Hawaii. What does he have to complain about? Life's good. Melakaliki Maka. It's a fine way. 34-year-old did get his start kind of late in the fight game here. Last fight, he weighed in at 157 and that was against Derek Campos back in September of 2020. Got the rear naked choke win with a whole second to go. He's now moving down to featherweight. I believe he has not fought at featherweight that I can see in quite a while, if not ever. So 34 years old, he's signed to cut another 10 pounds after weighing in at 157 for his last fight and fight at the featherweight division of 145, 146. So if I'm Ben Keani Diggs before anything, I know I've said this a few times on this card now, I got to see the weigh-ins because I got to see what a 34-year-old who missed weight at lightweight looks like at featherweight now. That's concerning to me. This is going to be, I think, one of his biggest tests to date yet as well. His first couple wins in Bellator were against Scotty Howe and Derek Campos. Derek Campos is decent. Again, he got that win at the very end. He's now going against a guy with 52 fights in Daniel Weichel. I believe he has 22 submission wins as well. The German fighter Daniel Weichel, also known as Drake, is 36. We got a 36-year-old versus a 34-year-old. He's coming off a decision loss to Emmanuel Sanchez, beat Saul Rogers. I think this looks similar to the Saul Rogers fight. It's a very similar type of matchup to me, where we've got a pretty one-dimensional, untested grappler in Keani Diggs, which He's 34 and he's cutting an extra 10 pounds here. I question that decision overall and how he's going to look coming into this fight, his gas tank, and just overall. So I'm going to lean towards Weichel. 52 fights to 9. A lot of experience against higher competition. The 10-pound weight cut last second. I got to go Weichel.
You're going the German.
Huh? Going with the German, Drake.
All right. Keanu Diggs, undefeated, though. It's hard to bet against him, but everybody takes that loss eventually. Even Israel Adesanya took that loss.
Yep.
So it's still at lightweight, right? No weight
No, it's
change?
at featherweight. This is Keanu Diggs' featherweight debut.
Diggs is moving down here.
At 34 years old.
Why? This reminds me of Omar Morales.
After missing weight in his last fight. And that did nothing for Omar, a younger fighter, too.
No, Omar got beat.
I'll be right back. Just got to open up the door so the dogs can get out. But go ahead. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So Emmanuel Sanchez, Daniel Weichel just was in the tournament, the featherweight tournament. He unfortunately lost by a unanimous decision. I have the scorecards right here. Daniel lost by 48-46, 49-46, and 49-45. So it was a pretty one-sided fight. Daniel was a plus 215 underdog in that. And he was obviously on the wrong end of a decision that he really wanted to win. Apparently these featherweight tournaments or Bellator tournaments, they win $1 million at the end, so it's a big prize. Saul Rogers, Daniel beat. He won a unanimous decision, won all 3 rounds, won every round pretty decisively. There is one round where he might have lost. He's only lost like the best opposition, and it's split decision losses. So imagine they went the other way. He would have a lot more wins on his side. Patricio Pitbull did knock him out clean. He lost by a heel hook 9 years ago. That happens. Other than that, like, he obviously started his career a little shaky, but he also faced like Thiago Tavares, a UFC veteran. Paul Daly, we've seen still like doing the damn thing. Dan Hardy, like, is this the actual Dan Hardy? Yes. He fucking faced the Outlaw. Man, Daniel Weichel has been through the ringer. Like, he's faced the best opposition you can think of.
Yeah, his record is crazy to look through.
I can't believe that. Like, even back in the day, he's facing like the most legitimate competition. I like Daniel. Even Des Green he beat. Desmond Green, I think he's in jail now, but he beat him. Keanu Diggs, like, I can't say much about him. He's still like a newcomer. He's 2-0 in Bellator, 3-0 in LFA. I should know more about him, but
there's not a lot to know yet. He's kind of like late to the MMA game. He does give me kind of BJ Penn vibes.
Well, he literally started his amateur career in 2007, so he's not a stranger. Like, 14 years into MMA, he knows a trick or two, and he's undefeated. Like, this is definitely the biggest.
He's got so much less tread on it. He's got so much less tread on the tires too.
Yeah. He's probably got 100,000 miles, while Daniel's got he's reaching 500,000.
Yeah, he's got that Honda Civic,
who's in the same boat as Daniel Weichel.
Yeah, it's just interesting, the weight cut and everything like that. Keanu Diggs is the slight favorite at minus 155, so I might be getting trapped by a couple old guard MMA guys being underdogs here in Jury and Weichel, but I'm going to put those two in a parlay together and take a shot, because that's going to be very nice money there, and I think those are two of the more likely dogs to come through on this card when you're looking at some of these other.
And Daniel's only 2 years older. It's not like it's a huge age disparity.
But there's a 40 fight difference in fights. Yeah. That's a lot. Like, if you're 2 years and 40 fights more, you might be a few years older, and we might be finding that out. Those are my assumptions as to why Diggs would be the favorite. I feel otherwise this is a pick-em.
Yeah, he's lost by 5 knockouts at this point. 3 submissions, 4 decisions.
Yep.
It's really hard to trust him.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to go on to the co-main event here. Really, really solid women's flyweight fight between Liz Carmouche and Kana Watanabe. The dogs are turning up here. They need to go on a walk bad. This is what happens when you have 3 puppies in your house. I don't know if you can hear this, but they're getting wild. So we're going to wrap this up pretty soon here. I apologize. I'll do a better job of trying to plan this in the future. Liz Carmouche versus Kana Watanabe. Grappler's delight here, in my opinion, against 2 very, very good girls. We got the bigger grappler in Liz Carmouche, the smaller, more technical grappler in Watanabe. Watanabe cashed for us as a dog against Alejandro Lara in a split decision, which it wasn't a split decision. That was a clear, unanimous decision, 29-28. Laura got absolutely dominated in the grappling. It's hard for me to truly imagine Watanabe doing this to Liz Carmouche. However, and Turks agrees. He's like, no dog here for Turks is what I'm going to take that as. Watanabe, here's Watanabe's Tapology picture. I guess thirst trapping. 10-0-1 though, undefeated as a flyweight here for the judoka out of Japan. Had that win over Alejandro Lara, which I will say was unanimous. I don't care if it's a split. It was unanimous. She was dominating her. Alejandra nearly had to get out of her clothes trying to get to different grappling positions. That's how uncomfortable Lara was in that fight, and Lara was the favorite. So before that, Ilara Joan, the Pitbull product, she was able to put her away with ground and pound late in the 3rd round. So one thing I love about Watanabe, she keeps her gas in that pace and tenacity throughout 3 rounds. So I think that is somewhere where Liz Carmouche, because she is bigger, I believe does have to cut more weight. That could be a spot where Watanabe could take over a little bit. I could see Carmouche winning a 1st round, gassing out a little bit, and losing the next 2 rounds, and being one of those close type of decisions again. Liz Carmouche, though, still doing it. 37 years old at this point, though. Coming off 2 wins to Deanna Bennett and Vanessa Porto. We don't know how good either one of those wins are at this point. Vanessa Porto was unfit to fight last week for her next Bellator fight, I believe it was for Bellator. And so I'm not sure about how much it says to win a decision over Porto at this point. She did look good, but slowed down towards the 3rd. With Deanna Bennett, she needed until the 3rd round to get the finish on a girl who's been finished quite a bit in Deanna Bennett. So I think this is a close fight. I really do. I think it's grappler versus grappler, and it could again be one of those who has a better stand-up, and it's hard to really say between these 2. I do edge the gas to Watanabe slightly, but size and strength goes really more strongly to Liz Carmouche. So I'm going to go with Liz Carmouche here, not betting this one too heavy, though. I really respect Watanabe. I just think it's a little bit of a speed or a strength and size issue here. Carmouche is really, really tough.
It's Pride Month. Pride Month for Liz Carmouche.
Very true. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure she has she's married to a woman, so
she's very true. She is indeed a lesbian. You're correct.
So Liz Carmouche, if you remember, it was the inaugural women's bantamweight championship against Ronda Rousey.
Almost got it.
Liz Carmouche almost spoiled the fucking party for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It would have been a whole different
the history of the sport would be so different. The history of the sport would be so different if that happened.
Yeah,
it might not be
here. Inches away, like you said.
It might not be here, frankly. Really. It's hard to imagine Liz Carmouche headlining pay-per-views the way Ronda Rousey did.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine a women's division blossoming if Liz Carmouche beat Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
So
really interesting. Yeah.
It's crazy. She was so close to cashing as a plus 2,000 underdog or whatever she was.
Yeah.
And she's still doing the damn thing.
37.
Bennett did miss weight against her too, and she still beat her by a rear naked choke. Bennett got tired. Liz is going to be in there strong for all 3 rounds. She also went to she beat sorry, she didn't beat Valentina Shevchenko, but she didn't get finished by her. She fucking lasted all 25 minutes and showed a good account. She didn't show a good account of herself, but like she was there. At least she was there for all 25 minutes. A lot of Valentina's opponents get finished, so
yeah. She wasn't Priscilla Capoeira or Cachoeira or whatever.
no. She's just, when you're a vet at this point, you have tricks up your sleeve to at least survive. Like Alexei Oleinik last week, he should have got finished, but he's so old and he just knows how to cruise to a decision loss. If he gasses, he's gonna survive. If you're not like a big knockout artist, but this is a lot different. This is a title contender fight. Whoever wins this fight fights the winner of Denise Killhots, it's Killhots versus Velasquez. Ioana Velasquez, something like that. Is it Ioana Velasquez?
I thought it was Juliana
Velasquez. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's crazy that Vita Ortega finished Denise Cole's house too. So it's kind of crazy that Denise is in a title shot here.
So whoever wins this is fighting the winner of that fight. So there's a lot on the line. I think it's going to go all 3 rounds. I think it's going to be competitive. I don't see either woman getting finished. Mm-hmm. If there is a finish, like, it's hard to say that it's not going to be Kana Watanabe. Like,
she's a more prolific finisher. Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's just, I don't know the odds. I'm more comfortable betting the over in this fight.
Yeah. Liz Carmouche minus 230. So they're trying. Yeah, they're just.
I would never do that. Not in 2021.
I think that's pretty crazy there for sure.
But Gleason won last week. So what am I talking about?
Yeah, Watanabe plus 180. If Watanabe gets the magic 200 plus 200, maybe I'd take a slight shot. Otherwise, I'm going to sit back and watch this one. The over 2.5 is going to be juiced, I imagine. So it's just like, I mean, you're going to be looking at minus 250, minus 270 type of number here. And Turk says to avoid the dog. So we're on to the main event, and then we're going to go
the over.
Yeah, and then we're on to the main event, and then we're going to go very quickly through just some quick picks on PFL. We're not going to give reasons. We're just going to go through our picks and everything like that, because these dogs are turning into pumpkins here. Tim Johnson, Valentin Moldavsky for the interim Bellator MMA Heavyweight Championship of the World. 10-1, Valentin Moldavsky. He is now 29 years old, 235-pound cruiserweight, basically 6'1", the 75-inch reach, taking on the 260, 6'3", 78-inch reach, Timothy Johnson. Valentin Moldavsky is first here, the 29-year-old product, fighting out of Russia, Combat Sambo representative. He's been super solid so far in Bellator. 5-0. 4 of which have gone to a decision, but none of those decisions have been close against Carl Semunutafa, Ernest James, neither one I've heard of, but Lynn Vassell, Javi Ayala, and Roy Nelson all really just didn't have a lot of luck keeping Valentin off them. They all took takedowns at points in the fight, ground and pound, but they did all survive. But Valentin kind of just goes in there and very technically proficient, has a good gas tank, good speed, good movement. Timothy Johnson's got to go in there and do what he's been able to do to win his fights. Make them dog fights, man. Rush him with 3-4 strikes coming forward, leading into that double leg takedown, single leg, pin him up against the cage, use that wrestling. Had a back and forth fight with Chet Congo. That was a split, but I do think Timothy Johnson did win that fight. When he wasn't able to get the takedowns, he struggled. That's Tim Johnson against just about anybody here. If Valentin can avoid the takedowns, then I think Tim Johnson's going to have a long night. But I believe Tim Johnson's faced a better level of competition. 36 years old. He's in that nice prime as a heavyweight. going to be the bigger guy by 20 to 30 pounds here. We saw against Tyrell Fortune that definitely played a factor, I think, in the power and ability to take the shots, which is why he was able to put him away there. You look at his first 2 fights, Czech Congo finished him in a minute, and Vitaly Minikov finished him inside 2 minutes. And then after that, got 2 finishes and avenges lost to Czech Congo. We saw with Marcelo Golm, who I know he is much worse than Valentin Moldavsky, but he is a guy who was like that 240 range, and you really saw the size and strength of Timothy Johnson's wrestling really be able to dominate in that fight. I think it could give him a lot of problems when it's a guy pushing the limit like Albini. They beat him, but Daniel Omlamchuk, I can't say that name, but know him as a grinder in the UFC. Alexander Volkov, he went to a split decision with, and Volkov at that point had 85% takedown defense. It was the best takedown defense in the heavyweight division. Went to a split with him. Really impressive. Lost to a fellow wrestler, Jared Rosholt, way back in the day. Beat Marcin Tybura. He's got some really solid wins. He's constantly counted out here. He's going to be counted out again. I'm leaving this fight alone once I looked at the odds especially, but I'm tempted to take a shot at Tim Johnson here. I think he could really, really screw this one up for a lot of people. He's got good power and his wrestling transfers here. So I'm leaning Tim Johnson if I had to make a pick. But the odds definitely keep me away from picking Valentin Moldavsky. This is a good fight.
When you're looking at heavyweight fights, usually the older fighter is actually better. Like, you got to put that into consideration. We're not talking about flyweights here. Like, it's 35 versus 28. So Tim Johnson has faced the best of the best. He's had that UFC stint. He's been in the gutter. He's climbed back. He should have lost against that rising prospect in Bellator. Everybody was praising him like this is the next,
Tyrell
next
Fortune?
big thing.
Tyrell Fortune. Tyrell Fortune.
Exactly, Tyrell Fortune. Everybody was writing Tim Johnson off, and guess what? Tim Johnson comes in there, fucking knocks him out in like 2.5 minutes, cashes as a plus 540 underdog. Like, so if you put $100 on him, you would have won $540. That would have covered all your losses.
Plus 540 on a guy with a 35-pound weight advantage on fight night.
Unbelievable. I think it was the media that they were so biased, saying Tyrell Fortune is the next big thing.
He's got a great name. He's got a great name.
Johnson, also beat Czech Congo in France, and that shouldn't have been a split. The only reason it's a split is because it was in France. That was a clear 29-28 or 30-27.
Yep.
So like I said about Diego Lima versus Yaroslav Amosov, I think I'm just going to enjoy this fight as a fan. I don't like betting these kind of fights. There's a lot of X factors and it's just hard to predict heavyweight fights at this caliber. But yeah, it depends on the odds. Like you said, if Tim Johnson is a big enough underdog, I don't want to toss my money away either. It doesn't matter how big of an underdog he is. If he's going to lose, he's going to lose.
I understand, but I thought this was a close fight going in. And when I see Tim Johnson at plus 250 underdog, it does kind of really make me very, very close to betting him.
Absolutely. If he has the mustache weighing in, I'll bet the 250.
Yeah,
it only depends if he has that mustache.
I would anticipate he does. And I do follow Tim Johnson on Instagram. He's very focused at this point. He's entering that heavyweight prime. 36 is like the beginning of your heavyweight career.
He's in the military too. He's still in the military.
And we saw with an older heavyweight fighter in Brandon Sales a few weeks ago how he looked as a military man. The dedication, is all there. The focus,
the discipline.
That was the D word I couldn't remember. Discipline, because I have none. So that's why. Tim Johnson plus 250, minus 300 for Valentin Moldavsky.
Maybe take the over in this fight too. Might be a good bet.
People just love these Russian cruiserweight heavyweights guys because we saw Anti-Deja or Dalia, the guy for PFL a few weeks ago, he was like a minus 800 in his fight against Bruno Capolezza. Yeah, and these guys get knocked out by these bigger, harder hitters at points when they're at 230 range. It works till it doesn't. So
I could see this fight going the distance for sure.
Yeah, that's the Bellator preview. Real quickly, I'm going to go over to PFL and pull up the odds here. And as you can hear in the background, I got a puppy who is ready to go outside. I can't really keep him too much longer. So it's going to be very brief here, but we'll go through our picks for PFL number 6, Harrison versus Sydney. Dan Dwyer as the headliner. I wonder where we're going in that. But we'll start at the bottom. Klidson Abreu making his PFL heavyweight debut against Jamel Jones. I will take Klidson Abreu in this one. Not putting $1 on Klidson Abreu as a heavyweight after getting starched by Jamal Hill. But I think he beats Jamel Jones.
Yeah, Klidson Abreu was actually going to jump on today, but his English isn't that great, and he didn't have a translator, so it would have been
that would have been tough. But yeah, definitely, minus 190. So we're taking Klidson. I wouldn't bet him. I don't know about you.
Dog or pass for me.
Okay, fair enough. That's all we need. Next one is Caitlin Young versus Mariana Marias. I'm not going to take Mariana Marias
against my dog out. Aaron, what the hell?
I just let him out too. He wants to go out. He really wants to go on a walk.
Is that the puppy?
But he's, he's doing what he's supposed to. Turks, we're about to be. Come here, Turks. Yeah, he's not believing me. We both got Caitlin Young here, I believe, but I'm not.
Quick picks. I'm going Young for sure.
Yeah, I'm not betting at minus 225 though. Next fight, I really do like this as a potential dog pick for me. I was surprised. I picked against her she's not quite a dog, but she's almost a dog. Picked against her the first time. Taylor Guardado 1-1 against Laura Sanchez 1-1. Laura Sanchez doesn't throw. Taylor Guardado pressures. I like Taylor Guardado in this fight. Yeah, I like her quite a bit. Minus 145. I like that pick.
Her dad actually messaged me saying, Brandon, have you seen any odds on my daughter's fight against Sanchez Friday in the PFL? I'm like, hey, buddy, I found some odds. And her dad said, Taylor's favorite. I like it, despite the huge height difference, only 2-inch in the reach.
Yeah.
And I said, I think she should be favored more, in my opinion. He said, yes, that's daddy's girl, LOL. So, yeah, you obviously know who I'm picking.
Yeah, we both got Taylor Guardado minus 145. That's a potential parlay piece, but she is 1-1, so buyer beware. Next one, this is another interesting fight for me, a potential dog for me as well. Renan Ferreira pulled through for me as a dog against Verdum before they switched it. So I got my bet.
You got your money.
I got my money, cashed it out. I didn't see a tap. I don't know what you're talking about. Taking on Stuart Austin. Stuart Austin, very tricky guy. Been in there with a lot of good guys. Very crafty. Has a good top wrestling game. I think he could really drag Renan into a kind of some deep water here and kind of eke one out. So I'm going to lean towards Stuart Austin plus 190 underdog.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to research Stuart Austin yet.
He's fun to watch.
So I'm blindly picking Renan Ferreira at this point.
Frankly, he knocked out Dalcha Lambuka in Africa, but they did not stop in the first round and then came out for the second round. It should have been stopped. Took about 10 shots on the ground. Second round came out. He had an adrenaline dump and lost by knockout to Dalcha, but he was dominating.
Dalcha moved up to heavyweight?
Dalcha was a heavyweight champion over in UFC.
Yeah, he was a dual champion.
Yeah, and he was a judoka, and Stuart Austin took him down with authority. Stuart Austin, also a judoka. He's a long, lengthy guy. I think he could really give Renan some issues.
I just think Ferreira's been more battle-tested, especially that Brett Martin fight.
Yeah, next fight here. But, yeah, I'm leaning Stuart Austin plus 190. Next fight, Jenna Fabian versus Julia
easiest pick on the card.
Yeah, Jenna Fabian all day.
Yeah.
And Jenna Fabian is a minus 250 favorite. I'd put her in all my parlays. There's no one Julia is beating in this tournament at all.
Unfortunately, she's attractive, right? They're trying to get behind her.
I mean, and she also beat a male bouncer in a fight.
Endorsement or a mailman or something.
A bouncer, I believe, like a 60-year-old bouncer.
Oh,
so
it was a bouncer.
Okay. Yeah, you can find it on YouTube. Next fight, the guy we were talking about, D'Elia, taking on Chandler Cote.
Another guy I don't know much about.
Wasn't able to find a lot on this one. D'Elia is always going to be a giant favorite in PFL because they fucking love him so goddamn much. Minus 400.
Did he win it or something? Like, why is he so favored? He might have won one year.
I think, he won one year, and he's got he had that 17-3 record and looks like just a Russian champion. So I think people are just like, like minus 400. I just don't know enough about Chandler Cote, so I can't really give you a read. I believe
400. You said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe pass.
I'm passing as well. I believe you said Helena was out of her fight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Helena. Oh yeah. No, I think she's still fighting. Well, it was Kira Batera on Bellator.
Okay, my fault. Larissa Pacheco, we both have her in this fight, but she's so juiced. Minus 650, nothing to talk about. This next fight here, I think, is a very interesting one. I get Bruno Capolezza is everybody's favorite after the D'Elia fight, and I get that Mo Doris did not look that great against his last opponent. I'm passing on this one all the way around, though. I just don't trust Bruno enough at all. So
Mo Doris has not earned my respect yet.
I can't bet. It's a straight up pass for me.
But if I'm gonna put a prediction, it'd be Bruno.
I guess, but I'm really not confident on that one, to be honest. Next fight, main card, Denis Goltsov versus Brandon Sales. I love this fight so much. I'd love to see Brandon Sales come through again, because he did come through against Kamaru Usman's brother. Shout out to Dave Van Auken for telling me. I'm telling you, bet the house on Brandon Sales, and I didn't quite bet the house, but I bet. Dave does not come through with that information a lot, but when he does, I listen to it, and sure enough, Brandon Sales looked really good. This is another really good potential fight, I think, for Brandon Sales. Denis Goltsov does look good too. This is such a close fight. I want to take Brandon Sales so bad, but I don't have the guts. I'll take Goltsov.
Yeah, like it's just there's levels to this game. Sales beating Kamaru Usman's brother.
Who's 5-0.
Who doesn't really tell me much. I think Goltsov did win the PFL championship one year, or he was injured. He was supposed to fight.
He's solid. He's just solid. Minus 230 favorite. We both got Goltsov.
I'm definitely rooting for Brandon Sales. He's another military veteran. So and I have huge respect for those in the military. So. I just hope he does. I just hope it's a competitive fight. It might go 3 rounds. It might go all 3.
Yeah. So it's an interesting one. Next one, super competitive fight at 145. Moldavsky Hayabulov taking on Lance Palmer. This is one of my closest fights of the night. I'm going back and forth. I'm
not betting on this fight.
I'm gonna bet slightly on Hayabulov just because the odds are close. Yeah, just because I just wonder if Lance Palmer at this point is a little bit over PFL. Just overall, he's like, this is not. So I just wonder mentally if he's a little checked out. That's pretty important to me. And Hayabulov is really, really dangerous. And I get he's a favorite, but he's only a minus 130, which is as low as you're going to find in PFL so far since he's been in it.
And people might blindly pick Lance Palmer as an underdog. And, the house always wins, right?
Right. And against Jenkins, we were both on Jenkins in that fight.
Plus 260 underdog, buddy. That was awesome.
Yeah. Next fight, co-main event, super intriguing here. We got Anthony Pettis in a must-finish situation to get into the playoffs. Otherwise, he wins a decision, and it's not going to do anything for him. Taking on a guy who won his first fight in Monfio. What are your thoughts on this fight? I am leaning towards Anthony Pettis, but I don't know if he gets a finish.
Yeah, it's not like he's a grappler. He's gonna have to knock him out. And Haush
Monfio
Monfio has never been knocked out.
Yeah.
He's only been submitted.
Yeah.
Pardon?
You're breaking up a little bit.
Monfio.
You're breaking up pretty bad. Monfio has only been submitted, I heard. I think it's on your end because you're breaking up pretty bad, but Monfio's only been submitted, so it's going to be hard for Pettis. I'm going to assume you're also leaning Pettis, but it's hard for you to pick him by finish, but you're broken up completely right now, Brandon.
Yeah, like
yeah, if you can hear me, I'm just going to wrap up here because we just got Sydney Dandois and Kayla Harrison left. If you have a difference of opinion on this, you can message me and I'll amend it. We're both going with Kayla Harrison to beat Sydney Dandois.
Inside the distance.
Yeah, okay, heard that. Inside the distance. Do you know what Kayla Harrison is favored at on FanDuel?
-2,000.
-4,000.
What? It jumped up that much?
-5,000 on BetMGM. -5,000. You can get Sydney Dandois for a +1,400, and I still would never recommend that.
Save your money, folks. Just parlay Kayla inside the distance.
Yeah, but that wraps it up for Brandon and I. Sorry, Brandon is running on internet here at the end here. You know how Canada is. But honestly,
it's a laptop. It's so fucking hot. It's like lava right now.
Dude, that's what happens when we do these double breakdowns. But honestly, shout out to Brandon of MMA Wagers. Check him out over on Facebook, on Instagram. Always dropping good knowledge. Really solid analyst to check out as well. But we're all set here. PFL number 6 in the book, as well as Bellator.
You and Brian Pooh Bear tomorrow. I'll be tuning in.
Yeah. Shout out to Justin Jaynes for giving us that little peek into walking into the Apex. That was incredible. And he's going to be definitely my favorite dog of the week on the UFC. So looking there, we got our guitar hero here in Brandon. For Aaron the dog, for Brandon of MMA Wagers, we will be back tomorrow. UFC breakdown, 8 p.m. with Brian Pooh Bear Battle, who's fighting on the Ultimate Fighter next week against Kerman, the zombie.
One of those underrated fighters on the show.
Both guys are underrated. Both of the last picks are very underrated. It's a hell of a fight. But Pooh Bear will be back with me tomorrow to break down the full UFC card. Might be joined by a special guest or two. Particular Terrence McKinney, perhaps, might be coming on. We will see. But for Aaron the dog, for Brandon of MMA Wagers, for Bunny of Boston Comments, for everybody else, thank you so much for joining me. Definitely subscribe to the channel. We're going to be here for breakdowns on every fight that we can do. But keep taking care of each other out there and cash those bets. And we will see you tomorrow for the UFC breakdown with Brian Pooh Bear Battle. Have a good night, everybody. Peace out.
Peace, boys.